We all chase success, but what if the secret recipe, the key ingredient, isn't what we've been told our whole lives? What if it's not about being the smartest person in the room? Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea that, well, it changes pretty much everything. This right here, this is the conversation that psychologist Angela Duckworth always wished she could have had with her father. See, growing up, he'd often remind her that she was, and these are his words, no genius. This one sentence, this powerful wish, is really the key that unlocks this whole story for us today. And that really leads us to the big question, doesn't it? For all of us. When you look at people who are at the absolute peak of their game, the top athletes, the incredible artists, the visionary entrepreneurs, what's really going on there? Is it just some kind of innate God-given genius? Or is there some other force at play? Something that maybe, just maybe, we can all tap into. So our journey to find that answer actually starts with a beautiful bit of irony in the life of the very researcher who studied all this. It's a personal story that ended up sparking a global investigation. Get this, that same little girl who was told over and over that she wasn't a genius, she grew up to win one of the most prestigious awards in America, an award that everyone calls the Genius Grant. Now, this wasn't because her dad was wrong about her IQ score. It was because he was focused on the completely wrong thing. The real question was never, is she a genius, but what is it that makes her achieve so much? So this got Duckworth investigating, and she found out pretty fast that our whole society's obsession with natural talent might be, well, completely misplaced. The entire system we've built is standing on some really shaky ground. For years, you had these top consulting firms, like McKinsey, pushing this idea they actually called the war for talent. And the strategy was super simple. Find the people with the most raw, natural ability, the naturals, and just put them on a fast track straight to the top. But here's the thing, a funny thing happened. When researchers looked back, they found that a lot of those companies that were praised for this talent-first strategy, they actually didn't perform all that well. The whole philosophy even got a new nickname, the war on common sense. Yeah, turns out betting everything on talent alone is a pretty risky game. And look, this is not some new debate. Even Charles Darwin, a certified genius if there ever was one, weighed in on this. He believed that the real difference between people wasn't intellect, it was, in his words, zeal and hard work. Effort, he thought, was the true separator. And this connects right back to what Duckworth discovered in her own life. Before she was a famous psychologist, she was a math teacher. And right there in her own classroom, she saw it firsthand. The students who were truly crushing it weren't always the ones who just got it the fastest. Nope. The ones who really succeeded were the ones who put in the effort, day after day after day. Okay, so if it's not just talent, what is it? Well, Duckworth gave it a name, grit. But to really truly get it, we have to break it down into its two core pieces. And there it is. Grit isn't just about working hard when you're having a bad day. It's this very specific combination of passion and perseverance, and it's all aimed at long-term goals. It's about stamina, it's about sticking with your future day in and day out, not just for a week or a month, but for years. Think of it like this. Passion is your compass. It's that deep, lasting interest that points you in a direction and keeps you locked on target. Perseverance, that's your engine. It's the hard work, the resilience, that ability to get up after life knocks you down. It's what actually propels you forward. And you absolutely need both of them to get where you're going. All right, so this all sounds great. But is grit something you're just born with, or is it something you can actually develop? Well, the good news is you can absolutely grow it. And it all starts with what you believe about yourself. This idea comes from the amazing work of another psychologist, Carol Dweck. If you have a fixed mindset, you believe your talent is just set in stone. You either have it or you don't. So you end up avoiding challenges because, you don't want to risk looking bad. But with a growth mindset, you believe your ability can be developed. Challenges aren't threats anymore, they're opportunities to learn and get better. This belief, this is the very soil where grit grows. And you can see how this creates this incredible chain reaction. A growth mindset literally changes the way you talk to yourself. Instead of, I failed, I'm just no good at this, it becomes, okay, that didn't work, what can I learn from this for next time? That optimistic self-talk is the fuel that keeps your engine of perseverance running when you inevitably hit a roadblock. But a growth mindset isn't quite enough all on its own. It needs to be aimed at something meaningful. It needs a purpose. And nothing, I mean nothing, explains this better than the old parable of the three bricklayers. You see it? They're all doing the exact same thing. But the first guy, he just has a job. He's laying bricks. It's a task to get through. The second guy, he has a career. He sees the bigger project. He's building a church. But the third person has a calling. He connects his daily repetitive work to an ultimate purpose. He's building the house of God. And that's the key. That connection to something bigger than yourself is what fuels grit for the long haul. And this isn't just about us, We can actually help grow grit in other people. The research shows that the best approach, whether you're a parent or a manager or a coach, is to be wise. And what that means is being both super supportive, showing warmth and respect, and being really demanding, holding people to high standards. It's that powerful 1-2 punch that really fosters growth and resilience. So how do we put all this into practice? How do we actually build this muscle of grit in our own lives? Well, Duckworth's family actually lives by a really practical set of rules they call the hard thing rule. Okay, so it has 3 parts. First, everyone has to be doing a hard thing, something challenging that takes daily focused practice. Second, you can quit. This isn't a life sentence, but you can't quit just because you had a bad day or a tough practice. You've got to see it through to a natural end point, like the end of the sports season. And third, and this part is absolutely crucial, you get to pick your own hard thing. No one else can pick it for you. That choice, that autonomy, is what connects all that hard work back to your own passion. And that right there is the question I want to leave you with. We've seen that real, lasting success is way less about genius and way more about grit. We know it's a mix of passion and perseverance, and it's fueled by a sense of purpose. And we know it can be grown. So the only question left is the one you have to answer for yourself. What's your hard thing gonna be?